Some weapons are strong while some others not. While for those strong ones, mainly because you can see for those numbers they did told you that they are very strong. Otherwise, they may have some other gimmicks that makes them very unique. Well, for today's video, we try to take a look back at one of the weapons that already released for a long time, yet you don't see people use that much, Zymos. I don't really know about all of you because I think that Zymos really has something that hidden from us because the numbers that they show it to you are not entirely completed at all, so you may not know about how strong Zymos is. And spoilers alert, yes and no. But let's see what can Zymos do in the whole game, shall we? So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. If you want to know about where to get Zymos, it's one of the weapons that you can gain from the Deimos and Trati family. Well, you need to rank up to like rank 1 I guess because I already get it for a long time so I don't really remember what rank should I go for. But the most important part is that you not just only need to buy the blueprint but also get the parts blueprint and craft it out as well. So make sure that to farm a little bit of those Deimos resources before you start to craft these Zymos. Now, for Zymos, you might think that the stat is just very bad because all I can tell is that it don't really have a high damage. Yes, it has a good critical damage, but the crit chance is just slightly too low, much like how our Kuga New Core but worse. Yet the status chance still acceptable. The only problem is that the damage is not as high as we want, and the other stat we can see that is just only have an AoE damage which just has 61 toxin damage, and the range is just at 3.3 meters with 70% fall off. But what they not tell you is that because Zymos has a unique gimmick where when you headshot the enemies, it will explode from the head and it will shoot out a lot of those spore shots and headshotting the enemies. Yes, those spores can automatically headshot the enemies. This is what's so interesting about Zymos. Unfortunately, this stat is hidden that it didn't tell you at all. So you might need to search on the internet to see that what are those numbers told you. When you headshot the enemies, then it will explode with a 953 toxin damage. But all the stats will remain the same, being the crit chance and crit multiplier, except the status chance will increase up to 50%. And this explosion will cause a guaranteed knockdown. This is useful if you want to knock down the enemies, but I think this is not very good at all because when you need to headshot the enemies, this is very annoying. Another thing that we need to know about is that when the spore shot out from the head, then it will deal 138 damage where half of them will be slashed and the remaining will be punctured. This damage has a total of 6 multi-shot, means that you can use these advantages to as much multi-shot as you can so that it can deal as much damage as you can. While the stats still remain the same as the normal damage being the same crit chance, crit multiplier and status chance, so it doesn't really that well, except it has a force impact crux on that. This also means that mod like the hemorrhage can make good use of it. So for our Zymos build here, we'll be going with the 2 galvanized mod, which is the multi-shot and the CO damage. Because we want to make good use of the spore shot from the headshot explosion, so this is the one that we need to use the most. This also means that we're not going to use AoE damage at all. For our arcane, we'll be using secondary merciless and not deadhead, not only because we need to reduce the reload speed, but despite we know that they can headshot the enemies, we still not want to take any chance by just guarantee headshot kill, since we will be also relying on the hemorrhage mod later on to slash the enemies, so that we'll be dealing slash damage rather than headshot the enemies, which is why secondary merciless will be used. And this also means that hemorrhage will be used here either. Especially with the fire rate being that low, it is just an easy task to get high slash rate. We also have the Prime Expel mod here, mainly because we're dealing the slash DOT damage, so of course this will double dip the damage. Now, another mod that we want to use is of course the Cold mod. Why we just only use one single mod and not two? Mainly because we know that our explosion already dealing toxin damage, which just using one mod can immediately create another element that we want. And in this case, just one single cold mod can immediately create a viral mod. Of course, the main damage has a cold prop, but that's okay. I think this is also another good element for us to continue proccing the enemies, but the main purpose here is trying to create a viral prop. And most of the damage also dealing toxin, so combined with the cold will immediately create a viral prop. And you can see here that for our critical damage, we have the prime target character. as I don't really want to go with the prime critical chance, maybe because I know that the critical chance is too low, so there's no such point for me to go with any critical chance mod anymore. Unless if you wanted to, you can use certain flat crit chance such as the Arcane Avenger or Hero 4th ability to try to push the critical chance up high. You can use that. Otherwise, I don't really think that it's necessary to go with this mod. Instead, the last two mods here is just basically a free slot for you to go whatever you want. I have Lethal Torrent and Shotgun Bullets, especially if you can shoot the enemy very fast, you can shoot out around 2-3 shots before the first shot explodes, which result in that you can immediately get a lot of damage in just a single enemy. And so there you have it. Zymos is actually very interesting because a lot of numbers have been hidden so well that they didn't really told you about it. So in most scenario, by first sight, you don't really know what can this weapon does until when someone or you discover for yourself that, oh, it is really strong. But in reality, yeah, that's very gimmicky because I did try it and it is true it can deal good amount of damage towards crowd and single enemies, but that's very conditioned as my build will be more focused on using the spore shots to deal damage rather than the AoE damage, so it turns out that it is too hard to do the crowd damage. Still, this is one weapon that I still think very fun to play. If this is your first time watching, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss out any newest contents from me. Why not leave your comments down below if you got any ideas or thoughts you want to share with all of us. And that's it from me, and as always, I will see you all next time. Bye bye!